Welcome everyone to Getting Creative with ... Ksenia can't be with us today in person, but she does have something to share with us later on. And today we're working on letters. So we rolled up randomly who goes first, and the order today is Christopher, Molly, Lauren, and then Aurora. So let's start out. I'm up first. I have long wanted to do something with an illumination, like an illuminated letter or something. So I thought this would be perfect, a perfect excuse. So I put this together. I don't know if you can see it exactly. It's the Russian letter P, and it stands for pchela, which is a bee. And so this is not quite what a Russian letter would look like if it was in an illuminated manuscript. It came out a little bit more cartoony than I imagined, but I really had a lot of fun putting it together. And I could have filled everything in here to make it super, super busy, but I kind of like the way it came out this way. And if you don't speak Russian, you can still kind of understand the letter because it's just like the Greek pi. So here's the vertical, the horizontal, and then the other side of it. So, so that's what I put together using Posca pens or markers. And I used a super fine archival pen to just go over the outlines of everything. So it was fun.
Super, super awesome, Christopher. Thanks for bringing us into Cyrillic territory. That's super cool. And I actually hadn't thought about the connection between pi, the Greek character, and what's the Russian letter again?
Oh, Peh.
Peth?
P-E, Peh.
Oh, Peh.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yep. So yeah, the Cyrillic characters look a lot like the Greek characters. So if you know any letters from math or from a sorority or a fraternity, you're halfway to knowing the Cyrillic alphabet. So
super, super cool. This might be a good time for me to just butt in and say that I'm wearing my ancient Greek t-shirt today in honor of this conversation.
That's great.
Yeah. One last question about Russian, Christopher. Is it written like ancient Greek used to be written in this like boustropedon way, where you'd go like as the ox plows, like you'd read left to right, then you'd go down a line and go right, read right to left, and etc. Is it like that in Russian?
Nope, it's just like English, so left to right, as the Tsar dictates.
Very good.
So it's too bad we don't have Ksenia here to critique my illumination, because she's a native Russian speaker, but she can chime in later.
Very cool.
Cool.
Great. Molly, I think you're up next.
Sure. Yeah. So I really like typefaces. So I decided I was gonna make kind of like an alphabet type poster, cutting out letters from newspapers or magazines. And at first I thought I was gonna kind of have like a planned out, almost like a nursery like alphabet sheet. But then the only paper that I had was just 8.5, 11 by 11 sizes. So like I ended up having some parameters like of what supplies I actually had. And the letters that I was finding, the whole alphabet was not going to fit on the piece of paper. And look, it was a project. So anyway, so I decided I was going to go with a more abstract approach. And so this is what I ended up with. And yeah, so I just cut out different letters, tried to get all of them, and I succeeded. Awesome. The Q was really hard to find. It was hard to find a Q that was big enough from the newspaper, and some of them are newspaper letters and some of them are from magazines. But
where is the Q?
The Q is like really little. It's down over here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's a real cutie. I'm sorry. I have to say that.
So yeah, that was my project. I just ended up, cardstock, 8.5 by 11, and a glue stick, and it came together. So that's
That's
my
great.
project.
It looks so much fun.
It
Yeah.
was fun.
It does, for sure. I think one of my favorite letters that you found is the R and that G.
Oh yeah, the G was like, gotta use that G.
Mm.
And where's the R? Oh, there's the R. That was a cool print too. I really liked that one.
Yeah.
I think the G was my favorite.
Mhm.
So Molly, did you cut them off first and then you arrange them to see how
Sure.
you the position before you glue it, or do you just
Sure. So here's the truth. Here's what happened. So first I gathered whatever supplies I thought I could find letters in, big enough letters that could do something like this. And I just cut out the words. And then I kind of looked through what I found. And then I picked out the letters that I really liked until I had the whole alphabet.
right?
And then I ended up just like piling them on this piece of this cardstock that I knew I was going to glue it to. And I was working on this yesterday and I couldn't quite figure out like how I was going to arrange the letters in a way that I thought looked pretty. And I left it overnight, just kind of in a pile. And when I woke up this morning, I looked at it and I was like, oh, it kind of looks cool like that. So then I just took a glue stick and just kind of one at a time picked them up and glued them back down where they were laying. Yeah.
Very nice.
I love that. They look like friends this way.
Yeah.
You know.
And happy letters.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. All right, Lauren.
Yeah, sure. Well, first, I love that we're like so far just sticking to like letters and like not even like, I thought maybe we would see, maybe we still will, but not from me, like a letter that someone had taken the time to write or like mail art. And I don't know, there's like, yes, that's really awesome. I love writing letters and more especially getting them. But I like in the mail, but yeah, just like the letters of alphabets are so fascinating unto themselves. And I had the good fortune before COVID hit to have checked out this print, which you can kind of see in the corner of my screen. This is from the Drapeland Design Company. It's called Pretty Much Everything Up to October 15, 2015. And it's just all kinds of, I'll take a picture and maybe this will get interspersed in my talking, but of the whole thing. But it's an art print from AADL. And there's just so many, the Drapeland Design Company is a graphic design company. And there's just so many different ways to write letters, to draw them. And so I love doing that. I love looking at, just like Molly said, she loves type. I mean, I love type too. I love like any kind of written letter that, you know, is the non-boring, you know, stuff you find just unexpectedly out in the wild. So what I decided to do was just embrace that love of drawing letters all different ways. And I've done this before with comics classes that I've taught with kids where I just say, let's like take 3 minutes and draw one letter of the alphabet all different kinds of ways. And just like start with a bubble at the top of your paper and just draw different kinds of ways of that letter. And so I did that. I always like to have like these little half sheets of paper like laying around. They're just regular computer paper that I fold up, and these become my sketchbooks. I bind them up later together. But you can kind of see here at the top of my paper, I've got this bubble that I spent 3 minutes filling with S's. And so you can kind of see like all the different ways that I attacked this letter. I was drawing from my 3rd grade. I feel like every 3rd grader has to draw that, whatever, the Stussy sign, like the S. And yeah, I remember doing that as a 3rd grader and like getting it wrong and like turning it into a Z, and then be like, okay, oops, Gotta get that right. So I got that up there and some other types of S's, and I highlighted the 3 that I most liked in red. And then I went down the page and I spent a minute each on these drawings. I turned the S's into creatures. And so, you know, these are just like, they all have different, these letters have personality. And then you kind of build on that personality and take the personality into like creative ways. I went 1, 2, and 3. So I obviously, like, I couldn't get away from this like snake-like, you know, salamander-like creature. It's really hard with S's to like move away. Yeah, just like they're begging to be turned into these little snakes. But I finally broke free of that for my last little guy, at least somewhat. But
I love the teeth on that last little guy.
yeah, he's got nice little like capped teeth. Yeah. So anyway, it's a super simple exercise that I like it never gets old when I do. Because you've got 26 options, first of all. Well, I guess if you bring in Cyrillic or Greek or other letters, then you've got a jillion. But at least 26, and then you've got so many iterations of those 26. So it's like impossible not to. And we all like draw these letters, or we still do, even in this digital age. And I don't know, we're still immersed very much in them, you know, like all the different varieties. So even 3 minutes doesn't seem like a lot of time, and it does go by really fast, but you can easily knock out at least like a dozen iterations of a letter, and then boom, like take your favorites and create stuff from there.
I love those little like prompt games. Like that's really fun. It opens up your mind and it's just silly and lets you explore something else.
Yeah, I love it too, because like if you do it with a group of people, then it's even more fun, because you're just like, whoa, my God, look at what other people managed to do with this. And literally you just got like a pen. I used like my trusty Pilot V5, and you can make stuff happen.
And you get to see also different people's view of interpretation of each letter too. So it's kind of interesting to see.
Definitely.
I've been treating each week as its own prompt. And it's been so much fun, because I'm sure I never would have gotten to do really probably any of the things that I've made if I hadn't been making them for this program. And it's just been so much fun to create something with a 1-word prompt, and everyone creates something different from everyone else.
For sure. Yeah. Well, that's me.
Yeah, really cool. Great. Aurora?
Okay, well, letter is kind of so broad that when I was looking at it, I said, okay, you could do like Molly does, do collage, or you could do like Christopher does, design, and then Lauren does graphic. And then I also look at, you know, Chinese characters, not just 26, and so different language have so many different potential of designing. And then I was in the middle of reading a book called Code Breakers, which also the words and letter mean something else. It's just so much potential out there and just so broad that I decided to do something really simple this time. I have read about this game called Kaboom, which the kids play, and you just draw each letters on a stick, and for kids to pick it up, and they could play it, and then they could either pick whatever letter, and they could say the letter, help them recognize the word or the sounds, or they could, if they're older, they could choose a word that start with the letter ends. So I just thought there's something simple which anybody could do at home, especially with the COVID-19. Maybe the parents want to make something like this simple so that could entertain kids of age, younger age to do. And I just thought, well, I might as well do something simple that useful people could play with. And I I tissued it, the container that I have from other projects. So that's what I end up doing, because it's just so many ways to do it, interpret the letters. And I decided this way is a little more useful.
That's cool. That's great that you turned it into a game.
Yeah. So.
Aurora, I think you like to make a lot of three-dimensional things, don't you?
I don't know. I just like to do things that's more natural and more useful, in a sense that I thought very hard of if I were to do Chinese character, because they have, I think, more than 26, the basic stroke. I just think that's too overwhelming, and it's just so much interpretation of what you want to do letters. So I decided this would be simple enough, and everybody could enjoy and play it.
Right.
That's super cool. I have a question, Aurora. Have you used this structure before? Have you used this with either like kids, or I don't know, have you ever like played with these popsicle stick letters yourself?
No, but my grandson, who's 5, and he's learning to write his alphabet, and actually he sent me a sheet that he practiced on. Yeah. So I am going camping in the middle of September, and I will meet with him. So we will be playing this when we go camping.
Super cool.
So, because he's very good at learning how to sound each letter right now. If he doesn't know how to spell the word, his mother will prompt him, say, "Oh, what letter sound Then he said M. So that by playing this game, I think it reinforced the learning of the letter for the younger kids. And
yeah, definitely.
So I'm looking forward to do it, practice on him.
Cool.
So.
That's great. Well, I think we'll take a look at Ksenia's contribution after hours. But I think that's everyone, and that was Getting Creative with Letters. Coming up next, does anyone remember?
I think it's socks, isn't it?
I think you're right, Aurora.
Yes.
All right. Well, that will certainly be an interesting one. All right. Well, thanks a lot, everyone. It was great to see what everyone put together.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Hello, my name is Ksenia, and I am recording my portion for the Getting Creative with segment this week. I was unable to join the Zoom meeting because I'm traveling at the time of the Zoom meeting's occurrence, so here I am, still up in the North Woods, surrounded by a lot of twigs and trees, so I figured I would use them to my advantage. Necessity is the mother of creation, I suppose. So I made some monogram Christmas ornaments out of twigs and yarn. I have an A, just because it's the first letter of the alphabet. I have a K, whoa, a little bit crooked, a little bit of a crooked K, because it is the first letter of my name. And I also have an M here for my husband's name, Mark. So all I did with these letters was went out, collected some twigs, relatively straight ones. Some of them are a little bit knobby, as you can see with my K one, but I figured it would provide some interesting textual variation. I used my scrap yarn that has been left over from my weaving project and from various other projects. I feel like I've been speaking about scrap yarn for a very long time, but it's the gift that keeps on giving. So I took some baking twine, actually some cooking twine, and connected the letters. I crisscrossed them as appropriate to make the different letters, and wrapped them in such a way that they would stay relatively letter shaped. And after that, I went ahead and just went crazy with some colorful yarn. I have some really, really beautiful ones. One of them is called Mosaic, I think by Lion Brand. Another one is oh, I think it's cream yarn or something of that nature. It's like wool and it's ombre and it's just puffy and naturally dyed, and I love it. And some of it is just a really lovely, vibrant, recycled cotton. Other is, here's that ombre yarn. This is a ribbon yarn that also has a really fun gradient. So I just made letters out of twigs, and I'm going to put them on my tree this year. And I've seen something similar to this in like anthropology and places like that, and it was really kind of fun to be able to go out into the woods and just get some twigs, use my yarn, and make my own ornaments that didn't, cost $13.99 per 4 twigs. So it was empowering, but also it was very fun to play with. I've not tried any of the curvy letters yet. I think that might be my next. I still have time before Christmas, so that might be my next little challenge. Bishop is our last name, so I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can do the B without making it look too much like goggles, I guess, like these things, and we'll see how that works out. Maybe I'm thinking if I find some greener twigs, I can bend them into the shape that I really want, and wrap them that way. So I'm excited to try that out, and excited to try out some different yarn once I get home and have access to my full stash. So that's about it for me. I am sad I don't get to see the reveals of everyone else's crafts and projects, but I'm looking forward to seeing the video. I'm looking forward to seeing all the photos, and as always, thank you very much for helping me stay creative and playful, and making the segment Getting Creative With a true joy, and really stimulating for play. It's been a great time so far, and I look forward to doing more of this. I think next week's theme is socks, and I have so many ideas. Anyway, hope you guys have had a really good week. I'll see you next time, and thanks again.